everyone. Welcome to Cardistry, Lore, and More. I'm Kevin Ho. I'm here with my co-host, Brendan Connor. And
Hello.
today we have a very special guest with us, our good friend, Franco Pascali. Hey, Franco, how's it going?
Woo.
Amazing. Better now. Better now.
So, Franco, you just got back from Vegas, I understand?
Yeah. Magic gig in Vegas. It was for Pellegrino, which is kind of cool because I love fizzy water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Pellegrino's the one.
It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. I'll tell you what was crazy. So I was doing strolling, which you just walk around, do magic for an hour. That's the funnest. Everyone's having a good time, easy. But then I was doing a piece for the whole room. Just one thing. Doesn't matter what the effect is. But the rooms were like this. One room here, corridor, and another room here. And you have like in each room, let's say 45 people dining here, corridor, 45 people dining here. So I had to do a trick for both rooms at once. So I'm kind of doing figure eights on a lav mic, talking everybody through this thing.
Sick.
It was kind of cool. It was fun, but I've never done that before.
Wow. That's
You
an
know?
interesting challenge, yeah.
Yeah. No
What kind
cardistry that time,
No cardistry that time.
How
unfortunately.
is how's a Pellegrino party? Is it like just
Bougie.
flowing?
Bougie.
Flowing?
It was, yeah. No, it was specifically for like a top 10 restaurant list. So all the guests
Oh,
were like
sick.
chefs and restaurateurs and hospitality. So everybody was like pretty cool.
Fire.
And we did, I got this gig through Theory 11 and they had a really good idea where we got a caricature artist to draw every guest's face on a playing card. So you can do shit where you like force that card on people and it's like really, really magical because they're just like, what the hell? And they even went the extra mile. This sounds so nutty, but JB at Theory 11 found a guy to make AI Pellegrino ads with the face of each person integrated in this AI ad on like a Monarch card. So it was like printed like a Monarch card and it had their individual face on it. But the people that RSVP'd after, when we didn't make those, we did the caricature artist. Somebody was literally on set. We pulled up 2 hours early. My friend Max was with me helping us out. And we're just like, holy cow, we have people coming in 2 hours. We got to start drawing faces. We're like going on Google, looking up what people look like. They're bringing up team members. They're like, hey, is this Sarah's face? That's her, right? Yeah, okay, good. Guy starts going to town. He was doing it on Jokers. Just like Sharpie on It looked cool, man.
Crazy.
Wow.
This
Now
is what
the
I'm
average,
talking
we're
about.
here to talk
This is what I'm talking
cardistry
about.
now.
Kevin, I brought this up last episode. Magicians, we got like they're doing AI face cover Joker decks. Carter, we need to step up.
We do need to step up the game.
No,
Yeah.
we're here to talk cardistry. We're here, and that wasn't my idea. I was just lucky enough to get to make it happen, you know.
True.
But
True.
Yeah. So, Franco, you got your start in cards at a very young age. I remember listening to a podcast where you talked about seeing your family play like
Druka, yeah.
truco, and someone showed you a trick with a one-way deck, I think.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
my father showed me a trick using the one-way
Ah,
principle, and it was an amazing method because he sat me down and he was like, "There's a slight imperfection in the borders of every deck of cards." So he's like, if you find 3 cards that are good enough, you can just use the borders and notice that one are going to be thinner on one side. I didn't appreciate that till much later, you know, because as you start learning about one way, you're thinking of
yeah,
a more implicit design-based thing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I wonder who showed him. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Yo, this is some lore, but do you guys know that Aladdins are one-way decks?
No.
I remember this, but I can't remember what it is about it.
Is it one of the feather lengths?
Well, I don't know how well the camera can see it, but like over here on this side, the ink on the entire upper half of the card is thicker than the ink over here. So if you look
Yes.
at those like two X's, you'll see that this one is thicker than that one over there, and that's the truth for the entire half of the card.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I noticed this one day while I was just sitting on the toilet, like with my Aladdins in my hand as a poop deck, and I just was staring at the back of it, and I just noticed it all of a sudden, and I was like,
Wild.
whoa.
Do you
Yeah.
remember in CardistryCon New York, a couple guys found Blue Seal Tally Hose, but they were like the Pinochle deck? I don't know how to say it. You know that card
Yeah,
game?
Pinochle.
They were
Yeah.
just like at some random bodega. So people had fan backs that felt really good, but the faces were fucked. It's just like,
Well, that's fine for cardistry. Like,
very.
Yeah.
Very.
So still delving into your backstory, Franco, you
Sure.
got into Magic around like what, 7, 8?
Um, it, Dude, kind of always. There's footage of me 4 years old, like doing a coin trick. Like I'm going to my
Right.
mom and I'm like, "Look, there's nothing in my hands," and pulling a coin. I don't know why I always liked it, but I grew up. My father was always playing cards, and
Mm.
Blaine was on TV. I remember
Yeah.
like this one time he was just watching Blaine on TV. He's like, "Hey, come watch this." We were just watching it, and I was loving it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
kind of the earliest I learned to use the internet, my use for it was like how to do magic, either on Google. And if you looked
Yeah.
up how to do card tricks on Google, you'd get like these weird blog looking like pages
Yeah.
from somebody. You know what I'm talking about? And they had just the
Totally.
name of tricks and you would click them. So, yeah, man.
I've used to follow those and learn those tricks, and there's also all like the illegal like Kazaa, LimeWire downloads of like
Demonoid.
How to do David Blaine tricks.
That's exactly right. How to do David Blaine tricks. The fly
Yeah.
that's frozen.
Oh,
The,
yeah, freeze the
Oh
fly.
yeah.
the Balducci levitate. Like,
Yeah, the
forget it.
Balducci.
Yes.
Amazing,
Seeing
amazing.
Blaine hit the I think it was like pre-commercial break, but he hits visual force into the snap change. And if you've
Yeah.
never seen that before, that I remember where I was when I saw that, and that like changed something in my brain chemistry when I saw that.
It goes so hard.
It goes so hard, and he's like, "Look, this is not your card," and he's like,
Yeah.
and then it goes cuts commercial. Crazy, crazy.
And it
Craziest
went hard.
cliffhanger in the history in the history of Magic.
Oh man, we're so
So
lame. We're talking about magic. I was scared this was gonna happen. I'm like, I want to talk about the
no,
cardistry
if
universe
if
here.
there's anyone to talk about Magic with, it's you, Franco.
Fair enough. Fair
Also,
enough.
the
But we
lore. So much of the lore of all of us is rooted in magic as well. You kind of have to go
yeah,
there. So
No
there's no
doubt.
yeah,
shame, no
Okay,
judgment.
that makes me feel better.
yeah. Because you kind of dabbled into more advanced sleight of hand when you were introduced to True Astonishments, the DVD set.
Yeah. How do you? Yeah, I talked about this maybe before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I tell people was I was into magic my whole life. I got out of it for like 2, maybe 3 years to skate more. I was just skating all the time, going to the skate park, shenanigans, and I still did magic, but not too actively. I wasn't going to the magic shop or anything.
Hmm.
But then off of a torrent, I got the True Astonishment series, and I started looking through all of it. And the
Yeah.
material was so damn good that I remember getting like an addictive itch to practice because you would see this amazing effect, and some of them required gimmicks and gaffs, but a lot of them didn't. So the instructions would start, and you would realize, wait, this isn't gaff, this is like impromptu, or this is just using a real deck.
Hmm.
So I got this like athletic drive to just learn hard shit and just get through it. So after I got True Astonishment, I became like every day I'm waiting for class to end. I'm like, I can't wait to go home and just like drill the reset that Caleb Wiles teaches,
Yeah.
or like whatever, or to glue stick a whole deck together and try the static thing. It
Or
just
to
became
do
a thing.
Jeff's jump.
Oh, which one's Jeff's jump?
Jeff's jump is the one that Noel does in Ace, where you like
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they teach
deal
that
the
in True
card and jump.
Astonishment. They do.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So good, man. So good. So then I do that, and then I go into the Magic Castle Junior program because my mom's friend tells her, "Hey, you could audition to do this." And I was like, "Okay, let me try this." So when I got in, I met this dude named Zach Davidson, one of my first friends
Hmm.
in Magic, and
Oh yeah.
this other kid named Harrison Gelber. Harrison doesn't do Magic or cards too much anymore, but they showed me the worm.
Mm.
That's
I'm
interesting.
like, teach me the worm. And at that point, I was decent enough. I learned it in one go. I just kind of went through it. And I'm like, oh, shit. And from that moment on, it all changed. Because then I got the trilogy and I dove into the deep end. I'm like trying to do Pandora. I didn't even understand where to pivot it. I was doing it like
Hmm.
here for so long. And I didn't understand why it wasn't working. So that just got cardistry became part of the process right away. I guess when I
Wow.
was 14 or so. Before then, before 14, I didn't really do any cardistry. I could do a spring, I could do a dribble, I could do a Charlier cut and a Revolution cut.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was at with it.
Because I think you're, off top of the head, you're probably one of the pioneers of like a true card technician and magician and a real cardist. I don't know how to define what a real cardist is. I think we've been over this in past episodes too. Anybody can be a real cardist, but I don't think there's a lot of people that were doing it like you that took it like so seriously in both avenues and built technical skills. Kevin, you were kind of one of the first actually back in the day because you were doing card magic as well.
You know,
I know it was.
Kevin, first of all, I think that's one of the reasons we got along right away. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, at least I
Yeah.
felt that way. It was just we had a lot of things to talk about in those worlds.
The first
And
time we ever talked on camera, Franco, like we were just shooting the shit, and you showed me this center deal gag, the one where you deal out the whole deck on the table, and I think I like this guy.
that's what did it. Not that. Not,
No, it's always some stupid shit.
all it took is me going, "Hey, you want to see a center deal that works every time?" And then you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, "This dude's good."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I say this all the time. Well, people, when it comes to cardistry and magic, people always love to think about what makes it different, what sets it apart. They're like, no, but it's different because this and this. So magic does this and cardistry does this, which there's nothing wrong to do that. But it's always more beautiful to draw connections, I think, as opposed to think of what makes things different. So I firmly believe if we're talking about secrets to the creative universe that's hidden in plain sight, I think the best DLC for a card magician's life would be to dive into the world of cardistry. And the best DLC for a cardist's life would be to dive into the world of card magic. Like, I think it's a reversible ecosystem. It's so, I mean, wow, you know, I could talk about that for days, honestly.
Yeah. I remember you posting a thing recently about Popov, Alexander Popov from Russia, and him doing. Have you seen this, Brendan? Like Alexander Popov, the Russian guy. There's like he uses the pass as a flourish.
Was he like? There's like a video of him, old video, right? And
At a
he's kind of
table, and he's like just doing cuts, and he has a very
like a beard.
flow.
Yeah. He looks
He's an
like
OG.
Chase.
He kind of looks like like Russian Chase.
Yeah.
Russian Chase.
And he was the old school of like moving your hand, like everything was done super fast. And like that was the impressiveness. Yeah.
And he used bridge-sized cards.
Yeah.
King shit.
We were looking at videos the other day with some people. He did this one move. He was doing card magic and cardistry. The whole thing was a visual medley of just coolness. And then at one point, a card selected, I forget what's happening, and he like builds like a card house that maybe looks like half of what a Triforce looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts to like balance a packet at the top of the house. And then everything falls, and as the whole flourish is falling, he catches one card. But he does it so organically, like display, he's about to finish the display, and then boom, and he just catches one card as everything falls, and that's the end of the act, and then he walks away. It was a good use of a cardistry display, I thought. Very cinematic.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, Franco, so you're in the magic circles because you're performing, you're a professional magician. Are you seeing amongst the younger generations of cardists, like card magicians specifically, that kind of symbiosis of like everyone, if you're into card magic, you're just learning cardistry as well? Or is it still pretty separated, church and state? I know that's a very general question, but
you know what? No, I think how I feel about it is I don't think it's separated in terms of like people's taste. I think people like it and people are interested in it. I just don't know if that interest has sparked too much drive. You see some guys do it. In fact, I believe Popov is Russian. My Russian boys, they do cardistry a lot, and they more and more so they start to do cardistry and magic. They're just like really good card technicians and stuff. So you see it, you know, we see it. We'll see it more, I think. Yeah.
Because for my son, like I'm a terrible magician. I like sleight of hand, but I don't know actual. I never perform or anything. But if I'm practicing the two, it like uses different parts of my brain. I find because with the magic and the card sleights, you're trying to make it look like. I mean, this is the classic tale. You're trying to make it look like nothing's happening. Whereas cardistry, you're also kind of trying to make it look like nothing's happened, but also so much has happened at the same time. It just uses a different focus, I find, and the repetition is different. So
different.
I think that's where I have a hard time bridging the two is my practice time. I think I
Yeah.
would mentally need to dedicate to one or the other, and I'm too dumb to do that. So
Oh no, you could. I know you could do it. It's just,
yeah,
but again, it doesn't. You need that burn. You know, the fire under your ass for that. It's just, it's what it is. But I think lately about when we talk about a sleight, right?
yeah,
Okay, here's a card. It's going into the deck. I do a dribble, and I've controlled that card to the bottom.
hmm
There's like a cause effect that's bulletproof. It's a thing. It has a functionality. It does a thing, right?
yeah,
I can do this thing every time. I can do this thing with any condition of deck, regardless of how my hands are. Or even if I have a deck and I'm doing a one-handed top palm, it does a thing. I could do it every time, right? So I think the best cardistry moves fulfill that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The backdrop's getting there. It's landing, right? Sybil is going down. This is happening, right?
yeah.
So the moves that you could really just have that bulletproof nature, because at the end of the day, do we want to be cardists or trick shotters? It's like, what are we doing, right? Those are two different things, right? I don't
Good
want to be a
point.
trick shotter. I want to be in control of my things, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a fallacy that happens when some people don't perform outside of video, you know?
Yeah.
Because for some people, if you get it on video and it lives on there, that's good enough for them. But like, we work in the real world where we have to perform for people.
Work in the real world. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And so practicality helps, with that, with
It helps
sharing
a
the
lot.
art with others.
Oh my gosh, totally, 100%. And we also know this, right? I mean, maybe this is wrong. It feels right, but I think if we ask everybody, like, name the 10 greatest cardistry moves of all time, I think we'd see a pattern of highly practical stuff, you know?
For sure.
Like, so there's a reason for that. It's not like we don't know this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just hard to make practical stuff. I think it is. I try and get better at it. It's a skill to get the efficient process while creating a move. I think is something to improve on. I try to. It's hard to, but it helps, you know?
Definitely. I mean, parallels there with sleight of hand as well. Like you're going for the most efficient card mechanic as well with a sleight. I wonder if you were to pair up top 10 sleights of all time, top 10 cardistry moves of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably find some Venn diagram-ness
Yeah.
there. So,
You know, I was
but
talking with Patrick, and Patrick said the best thing. He was like, I want to find the two card Montes of cardistry. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's such a fun thought, you know?
Um, but yeah, like when I've been traveling as well, so with Chase or with Noel,
Mm-hmm.
and say we're at a con in a new city and we're all shuffling, inevitably some layperson's going to come up and ask to see a magic trick. Noel, without fail, will hit a biddle trick
Mm-hmm.
and just like a classic force, pulls the card. It's not their card. Does a top change, puts it in their hand, lays it on their palm. Boom, it changes every
Great.
time. Reaction's
Great.
crazy. Efficient. It almost looks like a cardistry move in a way.
Yeah.
It's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. No doubt.
So yeah, no, I love it.
It's so fun.
It's so fun.
I like when people ask, even as a cardist, even if you want to show them card. First of all, people like to do cardistry. You know, if
Yeah,
somebody's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Or can you show me a trick?" It's not like it's treated like an existential crisis question. It's really not. You can literally just be like, "Oh, I don't actually do magic, but check this out. You might like this." But you can even use vague language. You could be like, "Oh, I'll show you a sequence I'm working on." You could say that to a layman. It's not like the craziest thing in the world. Like, they came to you curious. It's better than making them feel like they asked the wrong question. If somebody comes to me, they're like, "Could you show me a trick?" I'm going to go, "Hell yeah, take whatever you want. Here, go for it. Which one do you want?" I'm always
totally.
into it, so they feel like, "Oh, I asked the right guy the right thing." But if somebody goes like, "Hey, are you doing magic?" And they're like, no.
Nah.
And then they're looking back at each other. They're like, no, we just shuffle cards. It's just like, well, that took 15 seconds too long, didn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, now this
yeah.
person feels bad. I think about
Was
that
there
sometimes.
was
Idiot.
was there ever a time where you felt more inclined to steer the conversation towards cardistry,
Hmm.
as a challenge to yourself?
I do it all the time. If I don't feel like doing magic, I'll just show them cardistry. And I'm not lying about. I'll say, hey, I'll show you a sequence I'm working on. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Civil, couple backdrops, hit revolver, Blackhawk, smile, and that's it. You know,
God, I love Blackhawk.
it's so good, man.
Oh
It
yeah,
isn't that.
Brendan hitting the buzz.
Well, I was just thinking because in San Diego, I didn't. I left. I was at a bachelor party. I left the cards at home on purpose.
Hmm.
But we got to a point, someone found a deck of cards in the Airbnb. It's this guy from New York who I hadn't met. He's like, I need to see a trick, bro. I've heard about you. I need to see a trick. And I was like, okay. So I'll just like do some cardistry with it. So just had like a four of a kind, put three on top, one in the middle, force that card. I was like, don't show me. I'm gonna like read your eyes with cardistry to see what your card is. So I like hit a
I love
buzzsaw
that.
to show on him. I was like, oh, did you see it in there? I was like, oh, is that too fast? I was like, let me slow it down. Then hit like a civil move. I was like, was it one of
Sick.
those four? And he's like, no. I was like, oh. And then he, get top three, pinky, whatever that's called. I don't know magic terms. And then take his card back. I'm like, oh, it was the king. Well, actually, what you need to do is just this. And then you got all four cards there. Lost their shit. And I was like,
Yeah,
that was just card. That was just buzzsaw. And
that was. But it's more, you know. That
it's
hits.
more. It felt. I got this feeling within me too. I was like, oh. I was like, what have I just done as a cardist?
We're so
It
good
felt.
with cards, man. We forget how easily we could over deliver. If we're talking about
Yes.
a random person that's just coming up to us, I mean, we've put so many hours, we forget how easy we could just totally blow them away with the things we could already do, you know? Buzzsaw
Totally.
for you is drinking a glass of water is harder than doing buzzsaw. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
actually.
Like,
Yeah, water. I'm
even
like,
just,
it's true. It's true, man. Franco, I'm curious to know. I think this was asked in some thread, but how do you? I know you're shuffling a lot, but how do you practice? Because you're one of the more consistent, not only card magicians but cardists too, and you've been on a generational run on Instagram, posting the most unreal clips
thank you so much.
so consistently. But like, how? Like, is that a process you've had since the beginning, or did it get to a point where you kind of like got your gear rear in gear, and were like, I need to practice more efficiently?
Yeah.
What's the mindset there?
I think I've always had the drive of just relentless practice, and
Mm,
I think just because I've never stopped or taken a break ever, so it's just the growth has been exponential to a certain degree. But I just keep it rolling, and I keep trying to learn things. I keep trying to learn things that I like. So if I'm creating and it feels fun, I'm creating a move. I'm going to keep doing it. The second it stopped feeling fun, I'm going to find something else fun in the card world. But I'm not going to switch to a different task entirely. So like if I'm creating cardistry and I'm busting my ass and it like stops being fun, I'm
yeah,
not going to go, I don't know, play a game or something. I'll probably just be like, okay, well, what's that move I wanted to learn? Oh, I
yeah,
wanted to learn how to do the stream move. You know, I'm still working on it. So let me put a couple hours into the stream move and see how
yeah.
good I can get at that. So it's basically just learn something new, create something new, refine something you already know. And
Mm,
those three apply to cardistry and magic. So you're in a constant loop of six things, essentially. Yeah.
mm.
And I just do
So,
that all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time.
Yeah,
so that,
and you said before that you never get burned out. Is that still true?
It's true in the sense of I'll get burned out for magic for a week, but then I'll just enter the cardistry universe and just sit there till I no longer feel like it. And then when I get burned out, I'll swap to something else. Or I'll get burned out of creating at both. And then I'll just get it into my head where I'm like, all right, let's just master some good moves. Like what, like good moves, you know? Like I saw the stream move. I'm like, that's a good move. Like I want to be able to do this move, you know? Not too long ago, I put a lot of time into this one, you know? Like I'm like, that's
Yeah.
a good move. I want to be able to do this, you know? So then I'll just like practice and practice it.
that was fire.
Are we going to ignore that?
That is like an important lesson, though. I think a lot of cardists have a hard time coming to terms with is we're in such a creation first economy with the card meta right now because original moves are king
Mhm.
in the social hierarchy that I think people forget the importance of you can learn other people's moves. There's so many good tutorials out there, and some of the best cardists I've seen came up with that mindset, like Carter. like Matt Fox, these guys were learning.
Oh my
They could
god.
do everyone's moves, because they just grinded out everything. And then when it got to the point where they were ready to start creating, they're untouchable. It's all efficient. So I struggle with this too. I find I don't know, I like force myself to create even when it feels really bad. And I
Yeah.
could just sit down and learn like Hothead 2 or something. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the forcing it it's a weird feeling. Like there are some days where I could force myself for 10 straight hours and come up with nothing.
Hmm.
Nothing. And I'll still have the energy to do that for the rest of the week every day. And then there's
Yeah,
other times where it does get a little taxing, you know?
definitely.
So that
Definitely.
you're right. It is kind of a nice pocket to try and learn new moves. I try and remind myself too. By the way, I mean, there's never enough moves to learn. There's so many.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, Kevin,
Hey.
Kevin, Kevin.
Yo, Franco, is it true that before you called this judo flip that it was part of this thing that you called Tokyo Rose?
That's right. So here's the story for that. I love that you know this. I would not have. I
Tokyo
haven't thought about
Rose.
that. And dude, last time I thought about that, I was pissing my pants. No, I wonder. Yeah, I would talk with Frankie Morales all the
Mm,
time. So
yeah.
if we're talking about early cardistry spiritual guidance counselors, you know, Frankie was like totally that guy for me because we would just go on Skype. He was so good. My
Yeah.
ears were just open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I swear to you, I initially thought that this was not that cool. And it was partly because I couldn't really do it too well. But I showed Frankie, and I was maybe doing it like, hey, Frankie, like, is that kind of good? Like, you know, and I'm kind of like, and then he's like, yeah, man, I think you should work on that. I think that's really good. And then I think he was talking to me maybe about molecule at the time. He's like, maybe you can complement it with another movement or something. So I'm like, okay. And then I mean, I can't even. It was that. That was
Yeah.
like the first. I call this Tokyo Rose. You know, I don't know why. I could have. I don't know why. What does that mean? You know. But so then that was the
Tokyo
move.
Rose.
Tokyo Rose.
So
And
was Judo
eventually
Flip
became
your
Judo
first
Flip.
first move? Sorry, I cut you off. But Judo Flip was the first move you created?
No, the first moves I created were just like some bullshit that we can't even speak of. Like the first cardistry move I created was this.
A
That was
Like
the
a
first one I
fan flirt.
remember. Yeah, it's based on flirt. It's based on flirt. I'm like, wow, I love how this is. I don't know. It just feels right. It's so cute, or it just feels good. And then one day I was like, what if you fucking do that? You know, I'm like, it's so hard. You know. So I had like little fidgets and weird shit. I had a weird move. I have a really old video where I'm using this grip and I'm doing this, like,
Mm.
which is really modern for the
Yeah, that's
time.
sick.
Yeah, yeah. And it's unlisted on my YouTube. I saw it recently, and I forgot what I did with it. So I had like some other weird stuff, and this crawl I've
Yeah,
talked about
Yeah.
before.
crazy.
It's so fun. And Oliver showed me this initially.
Yeah, I think I
Ooh.
remember
Oliver
you telling me about
goes
that.
insane, you know? Like,
Yeah,
so then I just was playing with that. I'm like, yo, what do you think of this? It's like sick. Like this. At
nuts.
that point at that point in cardistry, when I met Tobias and Oliver, they opened up the world of openers and closers to me
Mm,
because it seems obvious, but it takes seeing people constantly think about that for you to really
Hmm.
understand what it means. It's like an opener's a thing to be considered, and a closer is a thing to be considered, you know?
definitely.
So,
Right, because usually the peak of the move is the moment, but like getting there and getting out of it too is also part of the art.
totally. Then they were blowing me away with that. I mean, those guys, we already know we can talk about that again. So many
Yeah,
things, right?
of course, of course.
But wow, wow.
Yeah, dropping judo flip and crawl as kind of like your entry points into the cardistry scene is like It's like when Biggie dropped like Ready to Die. It was like his first album, or like like crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts when you think about it.
You
Yeah,
So
I think
know,
the first time I saw judo flip was that clip that Spencer captured of you, like at the con from like the over the shoulder,
hmm
and you
hmm
had that finesse that when you did it, you would like do the move and then you would like let it relax like a towel afterwards.
like yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was like a
yeah.
yeah, for sure. I remember, yeah, Spencer. Spencer liked it. I didn't realize I could do it even fast, but when he filmed it, I was like, oh, that is pretty fast. So then it got in my head. It's like how fast could I do it?
like
Um, so it's a great move. And when I first learned Muse,
Yeah,
I wasn't good at Muse. I think if I was good at Muse when I learned it, I might have not created judo flip.
I feel you. I feel you. Like
Yeah.
some of the moves that I've created came out of like not being able to learn other people's moves that were similar.
hmm
So like I
that's
have
key.
that move, Twisty McVeigh, and it came from not being able to do tornado cut, and you know,
Twisty
Yeah,
there's a
McVeigh.
Christy McVeigh
Twisty
is a
McVeigh.
classic. Um, Real heads know. Yeah, Tobias invented phased because he couldn't do a kickflip.
That's it.
Yeah, he just brute forced it because it's just kickflip, but like using all your fingers to make it spin when you think
Yeah,
about it. So
great move.
great move.
Was that first move with the Erdnase deck? Is that right? Wasn't there a video of him doing it with the green Erdnase deck? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I think yeah,
Franco,
maybe yeah, I think so.
Franco, what do you think is more painful, a bad magic trick or a bad cardistry video?
To me?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, it's funny because a bad cardistry video, if like they're doing a spring, how or like probably. I mean, a bad magic trick's insufferable. What am I talking about? I'm gonna go bad magic. Nobody could sit through a bad magic trick. It's the worst thing in the world. There's no way. There's no because even cardistry, you're still kind of going like. I feel like if you saw somebody do bad cardistry, you would at least acknowledge they're trying to learn something difficult.
Mm.
Mm,
And you would understand that I could barely do an overhand shuffle. I mean, damn, good for this guy. But if you do a bad magic trick, you're just sus. You're just like the energy's wrong. And, I don't know. I'm gonna go magic trick.
Okay.
is that a
Um,
rephrasing of the question Brian asked Patrick last?
oh, right. Yeah. Last time he asked him, what was it?
He was
Um,
cooked. He cooked with that question. I can't remember what it was. I was dying.
it was something along the lines of like, what's better, watching like an above average cardistry video or watching like a bad cardistry video?
It was
Yeah,
something. It was like Brian's out there. We'll get back
Yeah.
that.
to that.
I've been
Franco,
on TikTok. What's
yeah.
that?
No, no, you've been on TikTok and then.
No, I was gonna say I've been on TikTok and I've seen some like older dudes doing bad cardistry, and
Oh yeah.
I might choose bad cardistry on that because like it's a vibe to see like some old dude in a suit and a fucking fedora like thinking he's killing it when he's not. Like even though he's not killing it, it's kind of a vibe. He's just like
Yeah, facts. Those are my kings. Those are my kings. And the thing is with cardistry too, like I look back at like what were really bad videos like 10, 15 years ago. You watch them now, they feel vintage. And there's like some, I don't know, they've kind of aged like a nice cheese or something. And
some are great, some are
and
great, dude.
and like the technique has moved so far away from where it was back then, it almost feels original. I was like, oh shit, I would never have thought to hold a deck like that.
It's
It's kind of
unreal.
nice. It's kind of nice.
I
I think
go
that
back
there
and
was,
oh yeah,
yeah, there's something about back then, and there was a big disparity between skill and taste. Like if we're looking at maybe some of the
Mm,
people that were a little cheesy from the Handlords era, like their taste was not it, but they had like impeccable skill.
yeah,
So they would do like this
yeah.
ridiculous stuff, but it wasn't very good. It was very
yeah.
skillful.
The collective taste was pretty cringe. It's like the amount of videos that use um the like Chronicles of Narnia soundtrack in every video, or the Matrix soundtrack, or that was it. Those two.
Insane. Insane.
Crazy, crazy.
Insane.
But the skills were there.
I'll tell you what, I went back and I saw some like unlisted cardistry videos I never posted when I was young using like Odd Future. Whack. So
Yeah.
whack. Like it's
Uh,
just as bad as these cheesy soundtracks, I'm telling you. Some of them are just like, what are we doing?
do you
Totally.
feel that you have like an obligation to level out your like history with like getting rid of your old videos that you don't like so that you have like a good grid, so to speak?
You know, um, I don't think of it that way, but I'm very sensitive to my own self. Like I cringe at myself easily.
Mm,
So
Mm.
like if I look back at old videos, like there's many I've purposely not seen for years because I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to watch it. You know, I don't know why. Yeah, but I do think it's a marathon, dude, and I also think that we haven't had a chance to see so many cardists that have been in it for decades. Right now, we've studied a lot of people that have been in it for 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 years around there. But in our lifetime, we're going to start to see like 40-year vets who have seen a
definitely.
spectrum. Like, it's going to pop off. Like, that's going to be a whole different thing, you know?
Do
Do
you
hope that
feel,
sticks around.
yeah,
Sorry, Kevin. I was just gonna say, because I feel like there is a bit of a theme with cardists not aging out, but a lot of them do stop
Yeah.
after a long
yeah.
time, even the best of the best. I don't really
Hmm.
see that with card magic as much.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something if we just I honestly don't know what it is. Like even like Dan and
Yeah.
Dave, for example, is the top example of that. I mean, it was different for them when like 10,000 kids come and start stealing your shit and doing your shit and walking all over you. But I don't know. I hope it sticks around because like a 40, 50-year old insane cardist, oh my God, the
Oh my God.
aesthetic alone is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's like the image of those old Ronin who like go and live in some hut in the mountains, and people approach them after trekking through this wilderness, and they're like, "We need you for one last job." It's like,
yeah,
"Fine,
like
I'll do it just this once."
every time trying to think I'm out, they pull me back in.
The
Do
XCM
you watch The
Spendables.
Sopranos?
No, I
I
haven't
do,
seen it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know the who says that, right? Is that why you said that?
No.
Isn't that from The Godfather? Oh, because he's quoting The Godfather in that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
consigliere in
yeah.
fucking Sopranos. They go, just when I thought I was out, they
They
pull me
pull
back
me
in.
back in.
It's so good. It's so good.
Franco, do you feel like a relative old head now that you've been in this for like what, 12, 13 years?
Um, I feel seasoned. I feel
Hmm.
decorated. You know, I wouldn't say I feel like an old head. Um, yeah, but also keep in mind, there's a lot of magicians I speak to a lot that I respect a lot that have twice the experience as I do. You know what I mean? So I
Mm,
consider that
Right.
maybe older heads, but yeah, dude, the generations come quick and change quick. So in many
Yeah.
regards, there's I'm an old head. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I was speaking
yeah.
strictly in like the cardistry sense, because like
It's
I'm
funny. Yeah,
yeah. No, go ahead.
I just like I know for a fact I haven't even come up with my best moves yet. So
mm.
like I just don't even think about like the time. I'm just like
You know,
existing. It's just fun
I
until
was
we get there. And
I was rewatching your move Napoleon Dynamite today.
oh
And
shit,
I almost threw my phone away.
dude, I have another one that's like a little longer than that one that uses your Vault Hunter.
Oh shit.
Kind of intense.
Yeah.
Kind of intense.
We
Kind
can't
of
wait.
crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I think I'm gonna get a good take. I hope you like it. And there's a lot of Kevin Ho, Alejandro inspiration in
Ooh.
that move. Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of like my friend Ronan, who like he's a cocktail maker, and
Hmm.
like just that like ability to like mix and remix drinks is the same way that I can imagine you like infusing elements of different artists in your moves.
It's so fun.
Were you there, Franco, at that bar that Odd was in charge of in
Yeah.
Berlin where he made like the drinks for us.
It was very memorable. It's incredible. And Odd
Yeah,
is an unbelievable guy. What an aura.
Odd,
Talk about aura
Odd's
maxing
wonderful.
effortlessly, dude.
Oh,
This
big
guy is
Yeah.
time.
big time.
Brendan, did you hear about this? The drinks that he made for me and Nikolai and stuff?
Yeah, didn't he have a drink named after one of Nick's moves or something?
Yeah, like he had a Barolo drink, I think.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
made me a backdrop, and I
Sick.
think he made
fire.
Albatross for Tobias.
Yeah, he made a surprise unannounced visit to our Soul pop-up because
Hmm.
he's like the head cocktail master at like the Four Seasons, uh,
Wow.
Korea or some shit. He's the
Hmm.
guy. He is him.
He's the guy.
But yeah, he just showed up. He's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Oh God, you're in Korea? Hey." He's a unreal dude.
Yeah, shouts out
Love
Odd.
it. Berlin
Shouts
was
out
very
Odd.
fun.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
that was a
Berlin.
great trip.
And Barcelona leading up to that.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Can I ask y'all some questions? Switch it
Yeah,
up
of
a little.
course.
Yeah?
Yeah, hit us.
Okay. Let's get wacky, you know. It doesn't need to be high effort questions, but let's say like you could press a magic button and this button changes three things about every cardist in the world.
Oh,
Oh,
What would you want it? What would you want those like I'll start. I'll start.
okay.
I'll say one of the things I want every cardist to value performance more than they currently do. Not that it needs to be the main point, but I would like for every cardist to really think of it as like 50-50. The practicality of the performance and art of cardistry and the trick shot crazy conceptualness that also has its place for videos, you know?
hmm
The other
So,
thing
yeah.
is I would want everybody to know that there's a difference between practicing a lot and practicing a lot. Here's what that means. To some people, yeah, I practice 3 hours every day. That's a lot. You're not wrong, but other guys practice 10 hours every day, and that's a lot. So to understand the difference between a lot and a lot, maybe will make people not give up as easily. So instead of telling themselves, I can't do this because I'm bad, I'd rather they tell themselves, oh, I can't do it because I just haven't practiced quite enough yet. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then the third one, selfishly, I would like a lot of interest in card magic from the cardist because I think the hybrid would just turn into something that's really cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay, good
It's a really
question.
good three.
I thought the last one you're gonna say, I want them all to buy Cartilago.
Card
I kind of love
yeah.
it.
I was like, oh, this is a pitch. Damn. Okay, I think I'm gonna get a little more in the feels with it. But
Yep.
I've had some people reach out to me about this, but like, I wish cardists were more willing just to put themselves out there and like seek
Mm-hmm.
community because cardistry can be so isolating. I went through this for years, and now I'm just a goofy guy that has come to terms with my cardistry. I don't care. I just want to chill with the homies. Cardistry is so fulfilling when you have a community. Reach out in your city, find people, go online, be part of that. It will
Amazing.
it'll take it to the next level. And I know there's a lot of younger people that struggle with this because, talking with strangers is scary and we all shuffle cards and it's weird, but just
Totally.
do it from a early stage. Second one, damn, I don't know.
You're like, I went so hard on that first one. I don't know.
Yeah, I just cooked. That just fried my
No,
brain.
but honestly, you're right. Also, I agree with you so hard on that because I think what I was saying, honestly, the three things I said were very like academic kind of things. What
Yeah,
you're saying about the spirituality of communicating and connecting with humans and feeling good about being an artist and that all of that stuff 1,000 times more important than the other stuff, you know.
definitely.
The other stuff is only when you're on that cutthroat, like let's really figure some shit out. Let's really
Definitely. That
otherwise we gotta
that
go
being
for
said, though, I do wish cardists were just in the lab cooking up sleight of hand. Cause oh man. Cause I just did on my last post, I just did topple, but like with a double.
I
And
saw.
like the card
Yeah.
change. The amount of magicians glazing me right now is crazy.
They're not glazing, it's facts. It's awesome. You
But
know?
it was nice to see, and I was like, oh, this is like And it's because it's a cardistry based move with a magic twist, and I think there's so much to explore in that realm. Aviv is like the king of that, obviously, but
Hmm.
I think, and vice versa, sleight of hand artists coming in with these little tweaks or these little fidget moves or whatever, I think it would just
Totally.
blast both card communities into the stratosphere. So that's two. Third, hmm, make bicycle cards cool, like fine to use because
I love
I,
bicycle cards,
I
dude.
don't get they don't get enough respect. You put me onto the bicycle card elites from Penguin Magic. Gas. Real, real heads now.
Yeah, I love that these are like an homage to bicycle too. You
Totally,
know,
totally. And the way that went down with the design, this is a fun story. Maybe you don't know this. Um,
lore. We're all about the
lore.
lore
This is
here.
lore. Let's go. It only
Lore.
took us an hour and a half. We got it. Okay. I was working for Art of Magic for a little bit,
Mhm.
and I mean, the Bucks have been so inspirational on every level. Just like getting
Mhm.
to meet them from a young age, seeing all the things they did through Cardistry. I'm like getting into Cardistry, learning the trilogy. Like to say there's a special place in my heart for those guys is an understatement. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
remember reaching out when Art of Magic was going on, and I think I pitched them a simple idea that was like, maybe you could shoot me a couple bucks, and I'll film street magic videos of the things you already sell, and we could put these videos out and kind of promote. And they were like, I'm down, you know? And to me, it meant the universe and more. Now, throughout that process, Dave was working on a deck, which is pretty much what you're seeing here. However, in the monogram, or in the circle, I should say, was pretty much a different version of the Bicycle Angels. And being a magician, I fell in love with it because I was like, wow, Dave Buck modernizing a bicycle back design, that's like pretty sweet. You know what I mean? So I told him, I'm like, kind of fire to mark them. So he's like, I like the idea. He sent them to me. I went to my mom, who uses Illustrator. I'm like, Mom, we got to figure this out, you know? Like, pull up the files. So we went through and we marked all the cards. And he went to USPC and tried to print it. And USPC said no, because it's too similar to the bicycle back design. And if you want to
Right.
print it, you have to change the angels. It got shelved. Years and years and years and years and years passed. Fast forward, I'm doing some projects, gets swifty, blah, 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 Fontaine, doesn't work out, this, that. I'm like, let me just do Cartalago, live in my peace, just do my thing. So I hit up Dave. I'm like, wow, it would be so great to do a marked deck. I'm like, Dave, would you allow me to use this? Dave being the savior saint, just coolest
Mhm.
guy in the world, he allowed me to use it. So that's how
Sick.
this design came to be. So then I worked with Mike Warnicke and even Lucas Magic helped me with some stuff. And we're just figuring out some layouts and
Sweet.
boom.
So your mom marked that deck.
That's correct.
That's
Wow,
so sick.
That's correct.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Franco,
Insane.
do you remember Dan and Dave's kitchen island at their Hollywood home
I do. It was
and
so
the
fucking
secrets it
cool.
held?
Oh my gosh. They had every deck of cards in there. It was just like you would open it and it would just be like a light shining from this
Vodkas,
cabinet of
Arcos,
everything.
Jerry's, Winds, Smoke and Mirrors. Like,
Also, the Bucks at that time, not to say anything I shouldn't, right? But like they were such badasses. It's hard to capture like of course, when I was younger, I wasn't really hanging out with them, but there would be maybe once a year a mutual friend they're hanging out, and they would let me join along. And you'll like see Dave on the car just fucking driving with his fucking knees, just doing
Nice.
this. He's like chatting to you, he's like fucking busting out kryptonite. Like it was, it felt like a movie. Seriously, you're just like Dave Buck is the coolest guy on the entire planet ever. Going back to what we are saying earlier, the Bucks totally approached Cardistry like sleight of hand to a certain degree. I mean, you
Oh,
see how they
100%.
could, they just handle it. They just do the thing. Like this is a move, bang.
And they're the amount of handwork they've done in big badass Hollywood movies, which are card magic based, but they're just cooking cardistry in there because it looks so magical. Now you
Amazing.
see me smoking aces. Yeah, no,
Both of those
unreal.
are great.
Lazy Town.
Lazy Town, yeah, Lazy Town.
I don't know that one.
Oh, that's
Do-
the
oh, you got to see this video.
Icelandic. It's the Icelandic TV show for kids with that guy
What?
Sporticus.
You haven't seen
So
this? Oh man.
they hand double for this like action hero character in this
No way.
children's show. His name is
And
Sporticus,
and
and
like
he encourages kids to exercise.
so
So there's
sick.
like this whole deck of like exercises that they call super moves. So he's like, "Get ready for today's super moves," and then he like will do a production and bust out a card and show it to the camera. And there's like a whole bunch of sequences like that. And it's all on YouTube.
That's one of the rarest decks of all time as well, the Spartacus deck.
I have one.
There you go.
There was a show in Argentina, my mom told me, it was called The Magic Hands. And it would like show up for kids shows, and it was like two hands that would come and like do magic and teach you magic tricks. It was pretty cool.
That's
Sick.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Such a good concept, right?
Did it have like a name in
Yeah, yeah, I think it was like a Las Manos Mágicas, like the magic
Manos?
hands. Something
Ah,
really
yeah,
simple
yeah.
like this. Something real simple like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Kevin, you never answered Franco's question as well. It's up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I like
I
drafted
forgot,
out
dude.
my
I'm so
response here.
my brain goes like this. So sorry if we're like all over the
It's
place.
all good.
Oh, that's all good.
My three. What was the question again? It was like
You press a
um,
button and you can change three things
change three
about.
things about
Yeah.
cardistry.
Yeah.
The first thing is I want more cardists to know about the history of the craft, and I guess that's what we're trying to do with this podcast here, is get people educated on the lore and the backstory and where we come from, because the more you know about our origins and like the foundations for some of these moves and like what's come before, the better you can build like what's to come. So I think that's very important. And I think a lot of people are very obsessed with like the novelty and what's new, and they tend to overlook like the foundations. And there's a lot of gold that's just lost to time.
Big time.
Like how long was it until like you've been in cardistry for 12, 13 years and only recently have seen Popov, for example. And so there's tons of, hidden treasures
Yeah.
that we've just got to rediscover. So the second thing is, I think this is kind of like going along with what Brendan was saying earlier, is that I would wish that cardists would improve their social skills. Um, Magic
Okay.
and cardistry was a big impetus for me to break out of my shell because I used to be like a really shy kid.
Mm.
I wouldn't talk to people at all. Like if I had to communicate, I would like ask them to come closer so I could like whisper in their ear. Like I was like super duper introverted and shy. But with Magic, you are forced out of your shell and you have to perform for people. And when I progressed into like, going from Magic into cardistry, I had my social skills from Magic that allowed me to present cardistry to people. And when I was with the Verts, a big part of my career was demonstrating what I did. So people
Mm.
would say, "Oh, what do you do?" I'd be, "Well, I'm a cardist." What does that mean? Well, let me show you. And then you have your set, you demonstrate that, and you're an ambassador for the art. So I think that, I've said this before, but every cardist is an ambassador for the art form, whether you're doing it on
Yeah.
video or whether you're doing it in person. So the better your social skills are, the more easy and conducive it is to transmit these talents to other people and inspire them. And the last thing is, I would wish that cardists would read more books, watch more movies, and listen to more variety of music, because upping the game with your taste is a big part of getting better as an artist, I feel.
Definitely.
And like when I talk to you, Franco, like we've always talked like movies and film
Always.
recommendations, and you know, you've turned me on to quite a few movies that like I've really enjoyed,
Likewise.
and yeah, so I think that's really important to just be cultured in that way. So that's my three.
I love
Great
that.
three.
The external life, so important, right? A
Yeah.
cardist's external life is just as important as the inner life of cardistry.
you have any more questions, Franco? Because that was a heavy
Yeah.
hitter.
Let me pull these up. This is a sticker. Let me, we could, you know, I hate the favorite questions, like a favorite cardist, because I swear to you, it's
Mm,
harder and harder to pick every
yep.
single day. Like, I don't even like favorites or like, yeah, I don't know. What would be a good question? Let me think. I'm looking at two legends here. What would I like to know? What would I like to know? Oh, let's keep it simple. What do you miss from the XCM days that not only do you miss it, but you think could totally make a comeback in like a relevant way?
Can I
Like,
start?
yes.
Yeah.
I want battles to come back. I want people to call out other people and be like, "I battle you," because it could totally make a comeback. Have you seen how popular the Kendrick versus Drake beef
Uh,
is?
Yeah.
Like, we just need that back in cardistry.
craziest example, by the way, of anything. Certified packet cutter.
Beef is
I don't know
so
what that
healthy for
means.
any community. We need beef. I'll start. I don't give a shit. I'll I'll cut out some of these kids. But it was so rampant back in the day that you'd be scrolling through the forums and it'd be fuck Nick. I challenge you and be like, oh, like there's another battle, and you go through and through and through. It was amazing. And Handlords was like 60% just battling. That's all they did.
I want to see a battle with two dudes who are just like totally out of pocket with each other, just really nasty, and then they're both terrible. Like both videos are just what, like just awful. That would be so fun.
Oh, trash talk each other into a corner.
Battles.
Battles. I mean, there are battles now, but they're just so respectful and
Yeah.
everyone's so supportive.
Everyone
Uh,
splits the money.
yeah.
Everyone's God, no.
There should be a battle where people put in their own money and as a pool.
That's called gambling.
Oh yeah, I got this crazy concept in my head. We all sit around the table and put money,
Say when.
and we
So
put. Yeah,
casino battles.
Yo, I got
we need to
this.
bring gambling into cardistry. Yeah.
Yes. 100%. I got this
Holy.
movie money because I found movie money that I could do curly Q with. And it looked sick. So I found the same brand and I ordered bills, but this has like linoid finish or something. It doesn't fan. I don't know what's up
Oh,
with this. Like the other ones worked good. These I can't fan them.
that's a start.
But
Bro.
it would be cool, right? With dollar
Yeah,
bills, because I see like these trappers on Instagram doing like money tricks, like
money
their
spreads.
grills and flip.
We talked about this in episode one about like
Old school, the flex spreads.
what was Lonnie Dillon's name? The pasteboard pimp. Yeah, he had his money
Pasteboard
spread.
pimp.
Pasteboard pimp.
The deck collection.
Hitting a curly Q with a band is crazy.
Nice.
So Brendan, what's your answer? Like what do you
XCM
miss that you
days.
want to bring back?
I just miss DeVoe. Like having this ethereal, like godlike figure that could do no wrong. And when anything felt stagnant, DeVoe just came in, shook it up. I'm dropping motions. This like scroll I've been working on for 1,000 years, but I'm only releasing one copy, and you can all fight over it. Shit like that. Like it was good for the community. Um,
It was very generative, I feel. Like the lore from it
I
was
missed DeVoe. It's a shame, you know.
yeah,
mm,
man.
I
It
missed it.
was it was a crazy or speaking of aura, like his aura is like you can't even describe it. Just crazy. And he's still we yeah. He's still around, that's the thing.
Still around. Still
I
around.
wonder if he listens. Is he a listener? Is he a fan? A clan?
Let's send this to him.
We should.
Let's get
Devote.
him on
tag
here.
him.
He can put on a ski mask.
Send him a
That'd go
threat.
so hard. DeVoe in a ski mask would go crazy.
Devote. Yo, that would be crazy. Okay, we'll talk.
What?
Um, yeah, but you're right. The top three questions, anything card related, is really hard.
It's so
But we're still gonna hit you with them.
okay.
We don't need to. We can skip it. How about we start with this? What's your top three decks of cards all time?
Okay, let's go with the easy ones. Circle back, tally ho, blue seal. Sorry, but yeah, that's
Boom.
easy. For me, the original split spades, the Lion
Yes.
series split spades, the ones that were red, blue, and black.
Still have them.
Mhm.
I don't know why they felt so good. It had like the most beautiful implied border. Oh, they were so
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah.
Holy shit. And then, you know, if I'm just like, if we could just count smoke and mirrors as like a
Yeah.
concept within, I gotta go for that. Holy, like, I found these at the magic shop, $20 a deck. They had two of them. I
Oh,
bought both. I was shocked. Yeah, these are the best cards, you know? I don't know.
Eco.
Yeah.
Good answer.
So those are your top three. Top three videos.
Oh yeah, you can answer this one.
you're like, you're like, oh, you got this.
Yeah, this is
Easy.
fine. Yeah.
Top three videos. Okay, let's get an easy one out of the way. Turbo.
Boom.
Mm.
Just like all out, unbelievable moves, talent, creativity, aura, music, just great. Videos, huh? Fuck, man. I mean, you mentioned this earlier, Brendan, but when we saw Aviv's video on the laptop with the headphones, like,
Man.
you know, lasting impression. It's just a feeling that couldn't be matched.
I need to find that photo of you because it's so beautiful. You're just like sitting, you're like scrunched, you smile crying, I think. And like the glow of the laptop is just like hitting you in the face, and Aviv's just in the background. Like, that was special. That was a really special moment.
Aviv's the coolest man on the planet. He was
Oh.
genuinely like not even trying to be cool. Like, I don't know if it's good or not. You know? He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like he won't even tell you it's good. He's like, can you just watch it? Like, be honest. It's
Yeah.
like, Aviv, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, what?
Totally. And he's
It's
all about
amazing.
efficiency too. You'll talk to him. You'll be like, like I kind of want to film a solo, but like I don't know, I don't have these moves. And I'll be like, just film them, and then post them. You got the video. And I was like, you're not wrong, but like it's not that easy for all of us, Aviv. You just film them. Just do it. Okay,
I
that's two.
seriously can't even think of good answers. I feel like I don't even know. There's anything Aviv makes, anything Noel makes. All of the
Yeah.
first videos are unbelievable. We can go back in the contests. We could find some insane stuff from Lars, from Trevor. We could look at
Yeah.
Dimitri. We can drool at that all day. We can go to old Frankie videos that are insane at the time. We could
Yeah.
like, fuck, man. Anything
Yeah.
Tobias. Anything to Mix-08. I mean, I don't care. We talk about it all the time. Unbelievable. Oliver,
Yeah.
unbelievable. Nick, unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah.
anything Dan and Dave make, you know, like they're all so damn good and different that I don't even know.
Franco just said every Cardistry video of all time, basically.
Way to play.
But you're right. You're right. You're right. If someone asked me this question in an interview, I'd be like, "Come on, like, what do you mean?" You're right,
Seriously.
but still had to ask.
Yeah.
I guess we can keep it more in the modern times, though. But like, I'm seeing there's every so often when I'm just scrolling through Instagram, there's some kids cooking on the creative front right now. But I don't know how like tapped in you are with kind of like the newer younger scene. But are there any artists that are sticking out to you right now that we should keep our eye out for?
I found this old Russian man called Jazz Shot.
Okay.
Jazz Shot. He's got about 30 likes per video, and he's doing the most flawless aerials. He does like it's nothing 2-card flicker shot behind the back. Both cards split in midair, and he catches it like this. He's doing like, he's like juggling snap, like, you know those people that could shoot a card like this and it
Yeah.
like spins. He's
Yeah.
like juggling, like, I don't know. This guy's really, really crazy. If you find him, tell me if you find. Are you looking him
I
up?
found him. Yeah,
Dude,
this is
wrap.
this
It's
is
a
a deep
wrap.
cut.
It's a deep cut, man.
Oh, he's wearing a tuxedo.
It's amazing.
Jazz shot.
Oh, that is clean.
Dude.
And he's got the camera. He did not just hit this, but flicker behind the back.
Like, it's nothing. Like, first try.
Bro. Okay, that is... You cooked that answer.
Followed.
Did you find it, Kev? Anyways, we don't,
I
he
did,
just caught it on his foot. And then he just threw it and he just walks... Oh, man. Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's at jazz.shot on Instagram for
Yeah.
our listeners.
Yeah, we'll drop the link, but holy moly, good find.
So we
I
got
saw it
your...
on my Explore feed. I was like, excuse me? This dude just exists? I'm like, going on. I'm like, what?
So we got your
Double
top 3 decks. We
What-
kind of got your top 3
Where's it?
videos.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 moves? Favorite moves all time?
Franco's
Oh,
gonna
God.
lose his mind.
Yeah, I'm so angry, man. And I'm sweating. I'm like, I can't sit still. I'm saying yeah every 2 seconds. I'm going Spring, Aura Cascade,
Mm-hmm.
Blackhawk. Fight me, quote me. I said what I said.
Fire.
Blackhawk's really good.
It's crazy.
Like, just I don't understand how they came up with it. The Card Brothers, like that flick mechanic, and figuring out you could spin a card.
It
Excuse
makes
me?
so much sense, dude. It makes so much sense. And like the story for spectators, like to have your hands like this, it's really powerful.
Yeah, the image.
I do this at the beginning of most of my close-up shows. At least I hit one Blackhawk. And what I say, which is ridiculous, but this is what I say. I start doing backdrops. Audible gasps, by the way. I could send you footage, and I've sent you some. But like, I'm like sitting, I'm doing backdrops. People start going, huh? What? Right? I'm like, this is called an aerial technique. You could also do it from the back of the hand. This one goes to Egypt, China, Switzerland, and back home. And then they just go, whoa. But it's just like, it's the simplest thing, you know? But people
That's
really,
nasty.
it resonates with them.
Sick. You could also
gnarly.
say, this one's called Backdrop. Then you go, this one's called Black Hawk. Boom. Done. That's why I'm not a magician.
So Franco, the last but probably the toughest section of the top 3s. Who
Sure.
are your top 3 favorite cardists?
I'm going to do categories.
Okay.
I'm going to do categories with little explanations, okay? We're going to go Dan and Dave with no explanation. Okay? They made the trilogy. They were already on the magic and cardistry wave. I mean, I could say whatever I want. Sure, I perform magic. But if I'm not seeing these dudes lead the way and just kind of be like, oh, you can just make the best moves and be the cleanest at sleights and have original sleights. So for me, we're going to go Dan and Dave. We're going to go Aviv because are you kidding me, right? I mean, the breadth of material, anything from conceptual single card moves, aerials, packet cuts, everything, spreads. Aviv is insane. And then we're going Noel because Noel's nasty. You know, Noel's nasty. And then there's like, now those top 3, it's different because like then there's the top 3 who I think like influence me directly. You know what I mean? Like whose knowledge and taste do I trust and really like care about? So if we're going that top 3, we're going Patrick Varnavis, one of my closest friends. But if we're talking about a deep thinker, in every sense of the word, like every sense of the word, Patrick thinks about the old moves, how to incorporate that. He's intrigued enough to think about the magic mind and ask the right questions. He's always thinking about trends, hypothesizing what trends could be, what the next trend should be, what will be effective for the community. So like being around him is like really, really, really helpful. Another cardist who really influenced me a lot, like if we're going way back in the day, like when I met Tobias and Oliver, it was so direct. It was a direct stream of information when they came to LA. Seeing them create moves was, you got to see it happen. You have this idea of these guys who are the best packet cutters around. You see them and they are. And not only that, you get to see them make it. And because we're talking about them, you also get to see how nonchalant they are about it, which is kind of cool. Right? They just kind of do it and make it happen. So if I'm allowed to, I don't know, whatever. If I'm allowed to bundle them, I'll go Pat, Tobias, Oliver, and then for the third one, direct influence, maybe, At the time, Frankie, if we're talking early, I can't discount. I mean, he's somebody I Skyped on a weekly basis multiple times for like my first 2 years in cardistry, and that was very, very formative, you know?
Yeah, I
I
remember
haven't
seeing
spoken
like
to him
a
in 9 years, but still, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I remember seeing like I think Daisy Chain for the first time was like seeing you do it on video.
Mm.
You probably did it more than he did.
Daisy Chain's so good. I love it. I used to do this in the show. I
Yeah,
like would do a show. There would be a spotlight on my hands. I do cardistry. I like hit a daisy chain. I do some stuff.
I
It's a
know,
good
it's
move.
iconic. Yeah. So are those all the categories you've exhausted, or are there more?
Then if maybe we can go like, who's my favorite three of the young guys who I think are gonna murder? You know what I mean? Who I think are just gonna absolutely kill it. And we're gonna start with Aslan because I'm just a big Aslan fan. Like he's a friend, but he has this work ethic that you can't teach, and he has chops that you can't teach, and his understanding of complex jazz piano and the way he studies music is, I think, transfers over to cardistry and any other skill for that fact. Then out of the new young guys, Aslan for sure. I'm trying to think who else is in who else is like that age, you think? Aslan's 20, right?
Right.
Who else? I'd have to think.
There's so many.
I'd have to think, yeah. But if we're talking first round draft pick, I'm going Aslan. I
Pick.
like Aslan. He's fire.
Those are good answers. And I
He's really
think,
good.
yeah, there's an interesting point there too, because it's not just none of these cardists, at least on like the three, like the Danes, Aviv, and Patrick, and as in all these, you derive so much value from not just their cardistry, but just like hanging out, talking with them, being in their presence, just kind of seeing what they do. It's unmistakable. It's undeniable, especially with the Danes. Like, yeah, I've seen Tobias invent the craziest move, just like sitting on an airplane. Like he's like, how does this look? And it's like hothead times like 8,000. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, it's all right. And that like just like kicks something in your brain. You're like, oh, I need to do it. And it also just opens up the limits of what you think is possible for just like really nonchalant casual cardistry. Anybody can do it. It doesn't need to be this
Yeah.
bad. You can just sit and
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
great answer.
yeah. Thanks.
Well, that's the top three. You made it out. So,
Dude,
You
I don't know,
survived.
my body like physically tensed throughout that whole thing. I'm like
it's,
actually like, oh, what is the right answer? What do I think? Because I have to ask myself what I think. You know, I like so many people.
it's a tough one.
And it's
Um,
so tough.
so you're an Instagram king with the videos and the clips and everything. Do you think it's better for the community to post frequently on Instagram, get the ideas out there, versus old school, save, gatekeep, drop a solo? Because I mean, the data's there. The solo videos aren't getting views like they used to.
Yeah.
Instagram does. I'm kind of trying to figure out what's the best as well because, I would love to film a solo. It is
Yeah.
hard to like come to terms
Yeah.
with dropping a thing you've been working on for maybe years on an Instagram post. But I'm truly at this process. Like, I don't know what is best
Yeah.
for leadership. So I'm interested to hear your opinion on that.
That's a really good question. I hope to find answers about that myself because I think about this, and I do know that sometimes thought is the opposite of action. And a lot of
Mm,
cardists fall into this thought loop of like a scheme, so to speak, for lack of a better word. Like, what would be like the way I come out and like what's the most impactful? The second you start thinking that way, I would argue most of the time you're limiting your action. If you just
mm,
do it, you're already in the right place. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So when it comes to make a video or Instagram post, I'm gonna go for the basic bitch answer of like, what do you feel like doing? Whenever you
True.
feel like doing is the right answer. And in my utopia, every cardist just writes down things they like, things they want to see, and just does it.
Yeah.
They just do it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
action wins.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
yeah.
good answer. I kind of wish artists, because I see a solo video, it's like dropping an album. And when an artist drops an album, they're promoting those songs for like a year everywhere. You hear them
Mhm.
everywhere, they're performing, all this. I wish people would drop a solo and then just spam all the moves in that in different formats on Instagram, all this. I feel like
Mhm.
there's this trend, people drop a solo video and then the moves are never seen again. So my old
Yeah,
my old crusty brain can't like
yeah,
lock it in or anything. But I
yeah.
think that's also why there's not as many classic kind of Danish style cardistry moves popping up that are being
Mhm.
performed by everyone. That we're not being force fed it anymore. So that's something I wish more cards would do to circle it back
Yeah.
to your question from like 45 minutes ago.
No, but no doubt. I mean, I wish I did that too. I think, a prime example of fuck, there's so many moves I've only done once. It's like, why have I only
Yeah,
done this once? It's two reasons. One of them is lazy, and
yeah,
the other one is if I look into the past, I was creating a lot of trick shotter moves, and these trick shotter moves you don't want to do. So if you don't
yeah.
want to do it, it's like I've been wanting to not do that so much. So I think the repertoire of the last 3 years is much more likely to see me do over and over again and consistent at that, because I think about that too. It's very important.
Totally, totally. I've seen you trick shot too on COD. You're nice with it.
I'm pretty good at Call of Duty, not gonna lie.
I've seen you cook. I just sat on your couch and you're like, I'm gonna play COD
So
now.
I went to Vegas. I was performing for F1, the races. I was doing Magic, and my friend
Sick.
was also in Vegas. So we're like gambling during the night. I don't gamble. I hate gambling. I think gambling's terrible. But in this case, I put $20 in a slot machine. I won $638. So then I basically had money to gamble the whole weekend. Most money I've ever won on a slot. I gamble the whole weekend. I'm like up to 900. I lose money. And then I make sure I don't lose under like that 638. So when I get back home, I bought a PS5. I haven't had a console in years. I bought Modern Warfare 3. And when that game came out, I played. So I'm almost embarrassed to admit this. I played the game so much I was ranked 400 in the world online score and kills.
And
Nuts.
that's that card magic cardistry practice method right there at work.
It's so bad. I deleted 2 months of my life just quick scoping on shipment just over and over and over again.
1v1 me.
Wow.
My name's
All of
Card
Franco.
Moves. Card Moves is my gamer tag. So it was like 362 in the world, Card Moves. I'm like,
Sick.
sick. I have no sex, brother. Like, this is
I
sick.
I mean, I think trick shotting in COD and cardistry is closer in like any cardist could make two wrong choices in their life and have become a professional trick shotter. It's like
Yeah.
there's something in there. Like we're not that far away from each other.
Two wrong choices in a competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah,
That's insane.
you're ranked 450 on
Wow.
COD. But then Turbo was never released.
Fuck. Tragic.
Crazy, crazy. Um,
So, Franco, what's your take on where were you when you heard the news that Cardistry is dead?
Oh, I don't even know what that. It just doesn't matter, I guess. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I think people look to find out what to think before they just find out what to think on their own.
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
like, I need confirmation from these people that cardistry is either dead or alive so I could be right or wrong about what I thought.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Bandwagoning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's social media for you. Like people will watch a video, go to the comments. This is my opinion. I don't have to think about anything. That's kind of similar with that.
No doubt.
So you had one of the more wholesome, positive responses to that too. You were kind of like, everyone shut up. Shut the fuck up. We're good. And then you posted like 800 cardistry videos back to back to back to back to back. You single-handedly saved cardistry.
Cardistry Superman.
Yeah, it was dead. It was actually dead. And then
I, I like what you said. You said, "How can the cards be dead they if they're dancing in my hands or something like that?"
Yeah,
it was
dude.
a bar.
They have a personality. They speak. You know?
Well, Kevin, is there some questions that you've collected from Mr.
Yeah.
Franco? From the
So
community?
for, yes. So Franco, like we usually end our guest podcasts with questions that we've gathered from the community. I've reached out on Instagram and on Reddit, and I've compiled some of the top questions for you.
Okay.
So,
I'm nervous.
are you are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Franco. So, first off, Brian Tudor asks,
Cool.
Oh, shit.
what cut? He asks, what cut have you worked the hardest on, and how much effort did you put into it?
What a good. That's a great question. That's a great question. What cut have I worked the hardest on? The maybe backdrop.
The cut?
That's not a cut, bro. I'm kidding.
Maybe what cut did I work the hardest on? Maybe revolver.
Really?
I do it all the time because I have to go for the ones I do the most. You know,
Is Revolver the one with a single card? Da, da, da.
No, it's
revolver is
it's
the
it's uh it's my cut. It goes
Yeah,
like that.
I've seen Franco perform that all the time because then, yeah, you go into the backdrop and you kill it. It's a perfect, like, show me something move.
And the first time I saw this was Oliver doing it
Uh,
in that
Artificial
video.
intelligence?
Super sick.
Yeah, that's how he
So good.
starts off the video.
What a great move.
Yeah, I was just talking to him about it the other day because he was like, it feels like backdrop was designed to be part of that move. And I was like, I wasn't the one who put it together. I think it was actually David Peterson who ended up adding the backdrop to Revolver because I used to end it differently.
Great addition. And you have
Yeah.
a tutorial now, right? Shout out that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I teach it on my Patreon now. So if you go to patreon.com/CapDoesCards, you'll see that there's a official Revolver tutorial.
And that's the first one, right? I would consider it to be a pretty mystic move. You know, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
First time teaching it for realsies.
Sick.
Yeah. I wonder if Tudor might have been asking what original move of yours that you worked on the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. It's so hard to say, man. Man, I feel dumb because I should have an answer, but I. Oh, I mean, I call this ping pong. I use this in many different ways, like all the
Yeah,
time.
it's a great move.
Just that. I've been doing it for so many years. But if we consider this a cut, that's like a
It's a
small
cut.
tool that like I've used in so many different ways, you know? There's
Yeah,
just like a billion ways to flick that card there. So I
yeah.
think maybe ping pong.
Ping pong.
Sick.
Sweet. Salvador Gonzalez asks, if you had a collab in a solo video with another artist, who would it be?
If I had to collab in a solo video with another cardist, it would be. If I could pick two, you know what? I'm going me. Sorry to change the question, but I'm going me, Patrick, and Benji Tran.
Oh, Benji Tran.
The energy would be crazy.
That would go wild.
Make it
Make it
happen.
happen.
Do it.
Make it happen.
That is so
Benji's already
doable.
in LA.
You never know. That'd be cool.
I know
That's a good question.
I know Patrick's listening too. So Patrick,
Yeah,
Patrick,
Patrice.
I love you.
for the
I
culture,
love you.
that would be nuts.
Ricky Smith asks, "How does it feel to be 110% awesome?"
Is that Ricky Smith? Ricky Smith?
Ricky Smith, Ricky Smith,
Ah,
inventor of the Buck
Smith
Twins.
is
invented the
most
Buck
awesome.
Twins.
Ricky's unbelievable. It feels good, Ricky, but it only feels good because card people are awesome. And we're all friends. How about that?
Beautiful.
Very, very wholesome answer. Yuya.hs asks, "Any tips for creating 5 to 6 packet cuts?"
Tips for creating. I wouldn't say tips. I think just ask yourself at every moment if you're being efficient and practical. Because sometimes practicality is just a matter of asking yourself, am I being practical right now? So do the opener and go, can I do the opener? I mean, even film yourself do the first 3 seconds of the move. Does it look good? It does. Checkpoint. Get a little further. Then film that. Does the first 5 seconds look good? Checkpoint. Keep going. So the reason I say that, especially with 5 to 6 packet cuts, is the line between efficiency and not is much more volatile just because there's more packets. So just like take it slow and really ask yourself, is it worth it? You know, does it have an effect? Is it really doing something? Yeah.
I might jump in quick because I think I've seen you practice this way, Franco. But do you practice with a mirror or like your phone camera with when creating cardistry?
All the time. So right now my phone's on a tripod, front-facing camera. That's my default, I'd say. So like when I'm chilling, I'll do something. The second I do something mildly interesting, I need to work on, create, or get better at whatever, I put the camera there and I do it. So big time. For me, that's a big part of the process. Yeah.
Big tip.
And are you filming or do you just have it like, as on?
I just have it on, selfie mode. And if I hit a checkpoint, I film it real quick,
Okay.
Sick. That's great.
So we got a question from Aslan.
Cool.
Aslan asks, "Has cardistry made you better at magic more than magic has made you better at cardistry?"
Banger.
Because of the chronologic order, yes. Because first I was doing magic, then cardistry. So I'll say, yeah, cardistry made me better at magic than magic at cardistry. Because cardistry is what I added to my process, which was lacking.
We got a couple questions from Dividimo.
Cool.
First one is, favorite creation of your own and why?
Shit. Favorite creation. I just don't know. One of my favorite packet cuts I've made is Minesweeper.
Oh, what does it look like again? I saw it the other day, but I forget which one it is.
I would honestly do it if I thought I could do it. I don't think I'd be able to even do it right now.
Okay.
But it's the opener's like this, if it rings a bell.
Oh yeah.
And then it curls in and
That over is crazy.
And why is it one of your favorite creations? You might have answered that.
I love in cardistry as a whole, I love things that look bizarre and strange and weird and asymmetric, yet somehow feels right. I love it big on it looks abstract, but the right amount of abstract, like it works. Yeah. And I think that cut did a really good job at that.
Cool. I vibe with that. Davidimo also asks, describe cardistry 10, 20, and 100 years from now.
So 10, 20, and 100. So 10 years from now, there's more hybrids, and people are starting to learn both Magic and Cardistry. 20 years from now, there's a soft standard of performance in both realms with Cardistry and Magic, so people are starting to really apply and merge. And 100 years from now, Cardistry is known as Cardistry on a massive scale and is recognized as this individual thing from Magic. Yet, they exist together and work together.
Nice. Good say.
I thought you were going to say 100 years from now, lay people are in the minority.
Yeah, cardistry has taken over the world. The
100 years from now,
the
we've
world is
ran out of
crumbling.
trees. All cards are plastic. The biosphere is deteriorating.
Yeah, the USPCC AI bot gains sentience and launches the nukes.
Yeet Marco asks, what did your first flourish look like, and how did you come up with crawl? I think you already answered
I
the
talked
first
about that.
flourish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And same with crawl. Oliver showed me this, and then I got to cooking.
there you go.
Yeah.
So Hans Landkamp asks, have you ever imagined a move that you believe is possible but haven't made or landed yet?
Okay, so a good thing to bring up when people talk about I create cardistry in my head. You know, people say this.
Hmm.
I never do this, or almost very little to never. I'm 100% pasteboards in hand. You explore, something happens, you extrapolate, you figure it out. Or you get an essence you like in your head, an energy, you bring that into your creative session that day, and you just start forcing weird things, trying to hold cards different, trying to move cards and things, and you see something, I see something I like, and go off that. So I, unfortunately, I was speaking with Daniel Lin. He came over recently, and he's talking about how he's getting very good at creating moves in his head, and I think that's very cool. I know people that do this. I don't, or very little, like almost never. Yeah.
Senegola asks, what were the three most difficult moves for you to learn and why? And, well, it's a two-parter, so I'll ask you the first part. What are the three most difficult moves for you to learn and why?
Top three.
Honestly, this is one of the most difficult moves I've ever learned.
Stream?
Yeah, I think this one, I'm like, I still can't really do it, but I'm
Get
getting
it?
close to it.
The
And
transition
this is
between
so
hands?
difficult because, like, you're not only doing a really complicated thing underneath, but because you have an S spread, anything you do wrong ruins the shape of the spread and it starts to look ugly. So now
Yeah.
it's like you need to have a perfect S spread and perfect mechanics underneath. So lately, I think that's one of the hardest moves I've ever learned. What was the other question?
Oh, that is like what are the three most difficult moves for you to learn and why?
Oh,
So,
okay. So
are
that
there
was one
two
of them.
others that come to mind?
You can keep it to one as well for the sake of
Let's keep it to
brevity.
one. Let's keep
Okay,
it to one, but
so,
only to keep it moving. I like the question.
all right, and then what's a move in your experience? Well, this one says, what are the three moves in your experience to get the best reactions? But you can just do one.
Spring Blackhawk Aura.
Oh yeah, that's what you answered earlier.
Boom.
All right. Can Healthy 3899 asks, is there any advice or something you wish you would have known earlier that might have helped in your cardistry journey?
Practicality matters. Right now, I like to talk about this whole idea of practicality, efficiency in the process. I wish I started thinking about that earlier. It's a new thought. Yeah.
Wonderful. And last question we have is from Ninja Robot. He says, in previous episodes of Clam, it's been mentioned by Patrick that you've been doing cards since you were 4. What is your earliest memory of cards, and what is it that keeps you coming back, whether it be magic or cardistry? P.S. Judo flip is honestly the best comfy one-handed cut move.
Well, thank you for the judo flip comment. Grew up watching my dad play cards, so incepted with the love for playing cards. And there's something truthful about it. Even gimmickless card magic I really like, and gimmickless, and cardistry is gimmickless. So, like, to really look at this and be like, what could I make this do? Like, just forget about cardistry, forget about magic. I'm a human. I have a deck of cards. What could I make this do? That's like a really, really important thing to me. So maybe
Wonderful.
that kind of, yeah.
Awesome.
So we're almost at the end. Is there anything else that you'd like to, bring up, talk about, discuss, mention?
There will be a lot coming at a very interesting rate. There will be no stops. There's no intention to stop.
Love it.
That's all, man.
And
Okay.
stop the
And
Franco train.
oh, I forgot to ask, what does Cardilago mean? Because I looked it up on Google expecting to find like some translation, but like it's all you, so the word seems to be
Yeah.
organic. Like what's the etymology of Cardilago?
I wanted a word that has a nice ring to it. And Carte is how you say cards in Italian.
Yeah,
And for some reason, Cardilago just felt right. It was a phonetic thing that I think rolled off the tongue and I liked it.
that's
And if you
crazy.
really, yeah, that's all.
You just created a new word.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people find you, Franco?
Instagram, Franco Pascali. YouTube, Cardilago. TikTok, Cardilago52.
Awesome. All right. Thank you
Glendale,
so much.
California.
Yeah, Glendale, California. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, Franco. It was great to have you on.
So much fun. Love you guys.
Love ya. Thanks for coming.
See ya.
All right. Bye, everybody.